Have you felt it, Aries? That quiet shift you can't quite explain yet? Like something heavy is finally loosening its grip, but part of you is still waiting for it to fall apart again. Because you've learned not to celebrate too early. Not after everything you've carried. Not after how hard this year pushed you. And yet, right now, your life is not moving backward anymore. It's moving away from chaos, away from constant pressure, towards something calmer, even if you don't fully trust it yet. This isn't a coincidence, and you didn't come this far just to stay stuck. So, take a breath with me. Let your guard lower, just a little. And as you listen, I want you to ask yourself one honest question. What if this is finally the moment things start working for you? Stay with me, Aries, because what's unfolding now is bigger than you think. You know what's strange, Aries? The moment things begin to soften, that's when doubt usually shows up first. Not because you're negative, but because you've learned to survive. You've learned to brace yourself, to expect pressure before peace, to keep moving, even when your soul was tired. So, when the noise starts to fade, when the tension in your chest loosens just a little, part of you wonders if it's safe to breathe yet. And I want you to hear this clearly, not loudly, not dramatically, just honestly. It's not an accident that you're here right now. Late December carries a quiet kind of power, the kind that doesn't shout. It releases. It closes doors without slamming them. It clears space without asking permission. It gently says, this version of you has done enough. You've been holding more weight than anyone realizes. The expectations, the responsibility, the constant need to be strong, even when strength wasn't what you needed anymore. And even though life has already started shifting, even though something inside you knows the storm is passing, you've been slow to trust it. That makes sense. Because hope feels risky when you've been disappointed before. But listen to your body for a moment, not your thoughts, your body. Notice how it doesn't feel as tense as it did a few weeks ago. Notice how the chaos isn't pulling at you the same way. Notice how you're not fighting every second anymore. That's not weakness, that's transition. You're not standing in the middle of the storm now, you're walking out of it. And no, the road ahead isn't effortless. It still asks something of you. Presence, commitment, a willingness to keep going even when certainty isn't guaranteed. But this path is different. Because it doesn't drain you the way the old one did, it steadies you. There's a kind of peace that comes after pressure. Not excitement, not fireworks, just calm. And calm can feel unfamiliar when you've been living in survival mode. So if part of you is still waiting for the other shoe to drop, that doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means you're human. What matters is that you don't turn back just because the ground feels quieter. What matters is that you don't mistake peace for stagnation. Because something important is happening beneath the surface now. Something that doesn't need force. Something that responds better to patience than pushing. You don't have to rush this moment. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be on all the time anymore. Just stay with me here, in this space where things are finally settling, where the noise is lowering, where your life is gently redirecting itself without drama. And as we move forward, I want you to notice what you've been holding on to out of habit. Not because it still belongs with you, because what comes next isn't about effort alone. It's about alignment and learning when to release so something better can finally meet you halfway. Take another breath, not to prepare for battle, but to recognize that you're already moving into calmer ground, and let's keep going from here. All right, stay right here with me, Aries, because once the noise settles, once the ground stops shaking under your feet, this is usually the moment when the real work quietly begins. And I know something in your life right now feels heavy. Not dramatic heavy, not chaotic heavy, but the kind of weight that asks something from you every single day. It's not easy, and you don't need to pretend that it is. Maybe you're standing at the edge of something new, not shiny, not fully formed yet. Just a sense that the old version of your life can't carry you forward anymore. Or maybe you're not starting anything outwardly at all. Maybe the rebuilding is happening inside, beliefs shifting, priorities rearranging, a quieter but deeper kind of transformation. And that kind of change doesn't come gently. It requires discipline when motivation fades, consistency when no one is watching, commitment when the results are still invisible. You already know this path has potential. You can feel it, that subtle pull that keeps you moving even on the days you're tired of trying. But knowing something is right doesn't make it comfortable. And Aries, you've never been afraid of hard things. You've been afraid of wasting your fire on the wrong ones. That's the difference now? This difficulty isn't here to break you. It's here to refine you, to burn away what doesn't belong anymore, so only what's essential remains. Some days, it feels like progress. Other days, it feels like you're just surviving the process. Both count. And I want you to hear this as clearly as possible. Struggle does not mean you chose wrong. Effort does not mean you're behind. Resistance does not mean you should turn around. This road asks for patience because it leads somewhere real, something sustainable, something that won't collapse the moment you stop pushing. The easier path would have given you quick relief, but it would have cost you long-term peace. This one asks more now, so it can give you more later. And yes, there will be moments when you question yourself. Moments when you wonder why it seems harder for you than for others. Moments when you're tempted to go back to what's familiar, even if it's limiting. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you honest. What matters is that you don't abandon yourself in those moments, that you don't talk yourself out of what your soul already recognizes as true. Because there is a quiet strength building in you right now. Not the loud kind, the grounded kind. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything anymore. You are learning how to keep going without burning yourself out. How to move forward without forcing every step. How to trust that effort and alignment can exist at the same time. And that's not an accident, that's growth. So if today feels demanding, if the progress feels slow, if the work feels unseen, let that be okay. You are not meant to rush this part. You are meant to become steady inside it. Because soon, you'll notice something shift again. Not in what you're doing, but in who is walking beside you. The weight you've been carrying alone was never meant to stay that way. And as we keep moving, pay attention to who remains when things get real. Pay attention to what no longer asks you to overextend. That awareness is going to matter more than you realize. Just keep breathing, keep choosing what feels aligned, not just urgent. And let's continue from here. All right, stay close with me here, Aries. Because when life starts to quiet down, this is usually when truth steps forward. Not loudly, not dramatically, just clearly. The end of the year has a way of doing that. It turns the lights on in rooms you stopped looking at. It shows you who is still standing there with you and who has already drifted away without saying a word. And lately, you have been seeing things you cannot unsee anymore. Not because you went searching for answers, but because the answers stopped hiding. You are noticing who shows up when nothing is convenient, who stays present when you are not performing, who listens without needing something in return. And just as clearly, you are noticing the opposite. The ones who only reach out when they need energy. The ones who disappear when you need support. The ones who have grown comfortable taking more than they give. This awareness is not making you colder. It is making you honest. You are not withdrawing out of bitterness. You are stepping back out of self-respect. There is a difference, and your soul knows it. For a long time, you carried connections that drained you slowly. Not all at once, just enough to keep you tired. Just enough to make you question yourself. Just enough to make you wonder why love always felt like work. And now, something in you is done negotiating with that feeling. You are no longer willing to explain your worth to people who benefit from misunderstanding it. You are no longer interested in keeping peace at the cost of your own well-being. You are no longer shrinking your needs to fit into spaces that never truly held you. This does not mean you failed at connection. It means you outgrew imbalance. Letting go is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet, a slower response, a shorter conversation, less effort where effort was never returned. And even when it hurts, even when nostalgia tries to pull you backward, you can feel it. This release is necessary, because what you are shedding now is not love. It is obligation. It is guilt. It is the habit of overgiving to earn belonging. You are not losing people. You are clearing space. And in that space, something else is beginning to breathe, a lighter kind of connection. One that does not require you to explain yourself. One that does not ask you to be anything other than present. You may not see it fully yet, but you can sense it. Like fresh air after leaving a crowded room. Like relief you did not realize you were holding your breath for. There is nothing wrong with honoring what once mattered. There is nothing wrong with appreciating what certain relationships taught you. But honoring does not mean holding on forever. Some connections were meant to shape you, not to stay. And as you release them, you are not becoming alone. You are becoming available. Available for reciprocity. Available for trust that feels steady instead of fragile. Available for relationships that meet you where you are now. So, If you feel a quiet distance growing between you and certain people, let it be gentle. Let it be clean. Let it be without blame. This is not an ending filled with resentment. It is a turning point filled with clarity. And as you keep walking forward, notice how your energy begins to change when you stop forcing connection. Notice how your shoulders relax when you no longer carry what was never yours to hold alone. Because the next part of this journey is not about who you leave behind. It is about who can finally walk beside you without taking pieces of you along the way. Stay right here with me. There is more light ahead. Stay with me here, Aries, because after you let go of what no longer belongs, there is always a quiet moment that follows. A pause. A space where your heart checks the room before it moves again. After everything you have been through, it makes sense that trust does not come easily anymore. You learned the hard way. You gave honestly. You showed up fully. And somewhere along the line, that openness cost you more than you expected. So now, you notice it. The hesitation. The way you listen more than you speak. The way you observe before you lean in. That is not damage. That is wisdom. You are not closed. You are careful. And there is a difference your soul understands very well. What is different now is the energy approaching you. Not rushing. Not demanding access. Not asking you to prove anything. Just present. It might be one person, it might be a small circle, but whoever it is, they carry a steadiness that feels unfamiliar at first. Not exciting in a dramatic way, not overwhelming, just calm. And calm can feel suspicious when chaos used to feel normal. You may catch yourself waiting for the hidden motive, the moment things change, the part where you are expected to give more than you have. But notice this, you are not bracing yourself the same way. Your shoulders are not as tense. Your breath is deeper. This presence does not drain you, it grounds you. That is how you know this is different. Trust this time is not about jumping in blindly, it is about allowing yourself to exhale around someone. It is about noticing who respects your boundaries without pushing against them, who listens without needing to fix you, who shows consistency without needing to announce it. You do not need to rush this. You do not need to label it. You do not need to promise anything. Just let it exist. Because this kind of connection does not grow under pressure. It grows under safety. And safety does not demand your fire. It protects it. You are learning that you can open your heart without losing yourself. That vulnerability does not always end in loss. That not everyone is here to take. Some people are here to stand with you, quietly, reliably, without asking you to perform. And yes, part of you is still watching closely, still remembering what it felt like to trust before, still making sure you will not repeat old patterns. That is okay. Healing does not erase memory. It teaches discernment. This time, you are not handing over your trust all at once. You are letting it build naturally, moment by moment, action by action. And that is exactly how it should be. Notice how this energy does not rush you forward. It meets you where you are, right now, as you are. There is no urgency here, no pressure to decide. No need to defend your pace. And in that ease, something inside you softens. Just a little. Enough to remind you that connection does not have to hurt to be real. That trust does not have to feel like a gamble. That you can choose openness without abandoning yourself. So, let yourself breathe into this moment. Let yourself stay curious instead of guarded. Let yourself experience connection without rehearsing the ending. Because this chapter is not about proving anything. It is about learning what feels safe again. And as you move forward, pay attention to how your heart responds when it is not on high alert. Pay attention to how different this feels in your body. That awareness will guide you, quietly, gently, and it will carry you into what comes next. Stay right here with me, Aries, because after trust begins to soften again, something else quietly follows. A return, not all at once, not loudly, but unmistakably. You have given more than most people ever saw. Your time, your presence, your guidance, your strength on days when you were already running low. And for a long while, it felt uneven, like you were pouring into others while your own cup stayed just barely full. Not empty, but never quite replenished either. That can change how you see the world. It can make generosity feel risky. It can make kindness feel like a liability. And still, you kept showing up. That matters. Because energy does not disappear. It does not forget where it came from. It moves, it waits. And when the timing is right, it finds its way back. This is that moment. Toward the end of December, you may have noticed it already. Small gestures that feel unexpectedly sincere. Support that arrives without you asking. People who check in not to take something, but simply to understand you better. It feels different in your body when it happens. There is no tightening in your chest, no calculation, no sense that you owe something in return. Just warmth, just presence, just balance. And that may surprise you more than the lack ever did. Because part of you learned to function without help, to be self-sufficient, to rely on your own fire to light the way forward, even when it burned you out. So, when support shows up now, it can feel unfamiliar, almost uncomfortable, like you are stepping into a role you were never allowed to occupy before, the one who receives. Let that discomfort be gentle. It does not mean something is wrong, it means something is healing. These blessings are not random, they are not favors, they are not debts being collected, they are responses. Responses to who you have been when no one was watching, responses to what you gave without keeping score, responses to the integrity you carried even when it cost you. Notice how this support does not ask you to explain yourself. It does not demand performance. It does not require you to be useful. It simply meets you. And that is how you know this season is different. The people entering your life now are not here to extract from you. They are here to walk alongside you, to listen, to contribute, to share the weight. This is not about dependence, it is about reciprocity. About learning that strength does not disappear when you let someone help you. It expands. You may find yourself answering questions you were never asked before. Questions that are not about what you can do, but about who you are, what you care about, what you need. Let yourself answer honestly, without editing, without minimizing. You are not asking for too much. You are finally being met where you are. And as this energy continues to return to you, pay attention to how your nervous system responds, how your breath deepens, how your shoulders drop. That is your confirmation. This is not luck. This is alignment catching up with you. You are not being rewarded for suffering. You are being supported because you stayed true. So, allow this moment to land. Allow the help. Allow the care. Allow the balance. Because what is flowing toward you now is not meant to pass through quickly. It is meant to stay. And as we keep moving forward together, notice how receiving changes the way you see yourself. Notice how it softens the edges. Notice how it opens a new kind of strength. There is more unfolding from here. And it begins with letting yourself be held just long enough to remember you were never meant to carry everything alone. Stay with me, Aries. Because this part is quieter. And it asks for something you were never taught to practice. For so long, giving was your language. Showing up, holding space, taking responsibility even when it was heavy, even when no one asked you to. You learned how to carry things, not because it was fair, but because you could. So now, when life starts offering something back, when support reaches toward you without conditions, your first instinct is not relief. It is hesitation. You pause. You question it. You wonder what it will cost. That makes sense. Receiving can feel vulnerable when you have spent years being the strong one. It can feel unfamiliar to be seen without being needed, to be cared for without having to earn it first. So, if you feel awkward right now, if part of you wants to step back even as another part leans in, nothing is wrong with you. You are learning a new posture, one where your hands are not always extended outward, one where they can rest at your sides for a moment, unclenched. You are opening, slowly, carefully. And that takes courage too, because receiving asks you to trust that you are enough as you are, that you do not need to prove your worth through effort, that love does not have to be transactional, and that can feel deeply uncomfortable when you are used to earning everything. You may notice yourself downplaying what is offered, saying it is nothing, brushing it off, feeling the urge to give something back immediately. That impulse comes from survival, not from truth. The truth is simpler. You do not owe anyone for kindness that is freely given. You do not need to apologize for being supported. You do not need to shrink to stay safe. What is coming toward you now is not charity. It is balance. Balance responding to the energy you have put into the world over time. Balance meeting you at a moment when you are finally ready to let it in. And ready does not mean fearless. It means willing. Willing to sit with the discomfort. Willing to feel seen. Willing to let someone show up without immediately questioning why. This is not about losing independence. It is about redefining strength, strength that allows rest, strength that allows connection, strength that understands you do not have to carry everything alone to be worthy. You are not weak for needing support. You are human. And there is something deeply healing about allowing yourself to be cared for without explanation, about letting someone hold the door open without insisting you do it yourself, about accepting help without turning it into a test. Notice how your body reacts when you stop resisting, how your breath settles, how your chest softens, how the world feels just a little less sharp. That is your nervous system remembering safety. You earned this not by suffering, but by staying true when it would have been easier to close off, by continuing to give from integrity rather than bitterness, by choosing growth even when it asks more of you. So, let this moment land. Let yourself receive without rushing to return the favor. Let the care stay long enough to actually nourish you. This is not a debt. It is a harvest. And as you become more comfortable here, you will notice something subtle begin to change. Your relationships will feel lighter, your choices clearer, your energy more contained. Because when you stop overgiving, you stop overextending. And when you stop overextending, you begin to move through life with more presence. There is nothing selfish about this. There is something deeply responsible about it. So, take another breath. Let it be easy for just this moment. Because learning how to receive is not the end of your strength. It is the beginning of a steadier one. And from this steadiness, the next shift will reveal itself naturally. Stay close, Aries. Because once you stop resisting support, once you let your shoulders drop even a little, movement begins. Not the chaotic kind, not the kind that pulls you apart, but momentum with direction. The final days of December carry a faster rhythm. You can feel it in the air. Conversations stacking closer together, messages arriving back to back, decisions asking to be made sooner than you expected. Life feels louder again. But this time, it is not overwhelming. It is responsive. Something that had been holding you in place has loosened. Not dramatically, not with noise or warning, just quietly releasing its grip. A delay you learned to live with. A pause you stopped questioning. A door that felt sealed shut for so long, you stopped knocking. It is open now. And what matters is not how it opened. It is that you are no longer standing still in front of it. You may notice opportunities moving toward you instead of you chasing them. Conversations that progress without you forcing clarity. Situations that once felt stagnant, suddenly responding to your presence. This is not pressure returning. This is flow. The difference is subtle, but important. You are not being dragged forward. You are being carried. That is why it feels busy but not exhausting, active but not draining, full but not chaotic. Trust that distinction. Because there was a time when speed meant stress for you, when movement meant survival, when everything urgent felt like a threat. This is different. This movement has intention behind it. It knows where it is going, even if you do not yet. You are no longer stuck in the questions that once looped endlessly. What if this never changes? What if I am too late? What if I missed my chance? Those thoughts are losing their grip because life is answering them in real time. The areas where you felt blocked work, connection, purpose are no longer resisting you. They are responding. And that can feel strange at first, because when struggle becomes familiar, ease can feel suspicious. But ease does not mean stagnation. It means alignment. This pace is not here to exhaust you. It is here to reposition you, to move you into the next chapter without forcing you to fight your way there. You may feel the urge to control it, to slow it down, to analyze every step. Breathe through that urge. You do not need to micromanage this moment. You need to stay present inside it. Notice how your body reacts when things start to move. The alertness, the excitement mixed with caution, the quiet hope you are still protecting. Let it all exist. You do not have to rush ahead, but you also do not need to hold yourself back. This momentum is not fragile. It does not require perfection. It responds to honesty and participation. Say yes when it feels right. Pause when you need to. But do not confuse rest with retreat. You are not going backward anymore. Even on days when progress feels subtle, even when the movement is internal, you are being guided out of a holding pattern and into real motion. And there is something else worth noticing. This speed does not last forever. January will bring a softer energy, more space, more integration, more quiet. But right now, December is asking you to move with it, not in fear, not in force, but in trust. Trust that what is unfolding knows your limits. Trust that you do not have to burn yourself out to keep up. Trust that you are allowed to move forward without proving anything. Let this current carry you. Let the doors open without questioning why now. Let the stuck places loosen without needing an explanation. Because this acceleration is not random. It is the result of everything you have already done. And as you continue, pay attention to what begins to feel lighter, what requires less effort, what flows without resistance. That is where you are meant to go next. Stay with me. There is one more shift waiting just ahead. Stay with me a little longer, Aries, because after all the movement, all the releasing, all the quiet recalibration, there is one last thing your soul wants you to hear. It does not arrive loudly. It does not demand certainty. It simply asks for your permission. Right now, your intuition is sharper than you think. Your body already knows what feels right, what softens you, what allows your breath to deepen instead of tighten. When something feels easy in your chest, when your shoulders drop without you trying, that is not coincidence. That is alignment speaking in its own language. And when something causes you to contract, to rush, to override your own discomfort, that is information too. You do not need to force yourself through doors that require you to abandon your nervous system to enter. You have done enough of that already. This chapter is asking for a different kind of courage, not the kind that pushes, but the kind that listens. Your desires are not random right now. They are precise, focused, charged with more creative force than you realize. Ideas that come to you in quiet moments, images that linger in your mind, thoughts that return even when you try to dismiss them. They are not distractions, they are invitations. You may be surprised by how quickly things respond when you honor them, how conversations align, how timing shifts, how opportunities take shape without you chasing them. This is not magic, it is coherence. You are moving in the same direction as what is meant for you. And when that happens, effort feels lighter. Still, there may be moments when an old question rises. Am I really worthy of this? Am I ready to receive it? What if I ruin it somehow? Let that question pass through you without answering it, because the truth does not need defending. What is meant for you does not require perfection. It does not disappear because of hesitation. It does not withdraw because you move slowly. It meets you where you are, as you are. You cannot miss what is aligned with you. You cannot break what is rooted in your becoming. You cannot fail at something that has already chosen you. This is important for you to understand now, not intellectually, but emotionally. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not asking for too much. You are arriving at a version of yourself that no longer needs to fight for every good thing, that no longer believes love must be earned through exhaustion, that no longer mistakes struggle for meaning. This does not mean life will never challenge you again. It means you will no longer meet every challenge with armor. You are allowed to say yes to what feels nourishing, yes to what supports you, yes to what meets you with respect. And you are allowed to say no without explaining yourself. No to urgency that feels misaligned. No to patterns that ask you to abandon your peace. This is not selfish. It is sustainable. As you step forward, notice how your choices begin to simplify, how clarity replaces overthinking, how trust becomes quieter but stronger. You are not being asked to leap, only to lean. Lean toward what feels open. Lean toward what feels steady. Lean toward what allows you to be present instead of vigilant. And if there is one thing I want you to carry with you from this moment, let it be this. You are allowed to receive the life you have been preparing for. You are allowed to rest inside it. You are allowed to enjoy it without waiting for the cost. This is not the end of your fire. It is its refinement. So, take a breath. Let it land. Because it really is about time, Aries, not for another battle, but for belonging in the life that has been quietly making its way. Back to you. All right. Stay with me for just a few more seconds, Aries. Because if there's one thing I want to leave you with tonight, it's this quiet truth. You didn't imagine this shift. You didn't make it up to survive another hard chapter. Something real is changing now. Because you changed first. And the moment you stop fighting the current, the moment you stop asking for permission to receive, life meets you halfway. If this message found you at the right time, don't brush that off. Let it land. Take a moment and tell me in the comments what part of this resonated the most. Not for me, for you. Because naming it anchors it. And if you're an Aries who's been walking this path quietly, carrying more than most people ever knew, this channel is here for you. Subscribe, stay connected. You're not walking this season alone. Trust yourself, Aries. The version of you stepping into the next chapter is steadier, wiser, and more supported than ever before. And this isn't the end of the message. It's only the pause between chapters. The journey continues. The next message is already forming. Until then, breathe, receive, and remember. It really is about time.